Good afternoon. I'm Prajakta Jagtap. I'm studying PGD BA Marketing. My roll number is C050440, and today I'll be teaching about hypothesis testing for one sample.
So, why exactly do we need hypothesis testing in statistics? Well, look at any pharma company. They might need to find if that certain drug they're producing is effective at relieving stomachache or not. Because no one will believe in a one time wonder result in an experiment. You have to repeat it. What is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is basically an educated guess about something in the world around you. It should be testable either by experiment or observation. For example, a new drug that might work or a possible location of new species. When we carry any hypothesis test, the first thing we do is write a hypothesis statement. It would consist of independent and dependent variables with if and then. For example, if students study at evening instead of morning, then student test scores will improve. So this is just an example of a null hypothesis statement. Hypothesis statement should be based on information prior to research. It should include both independent and dependent variables. It should be testable by experiment, survey, etc. So in hypothesis testing, you're basically testing whether your results have happened by chance. If your results are by chance, then experiment won't be respectable and has very little use. We can carry out hypothesis tests for either one sample or two samples. For one sample tests, we figure out the first step is to figure out null hypothesis. We need to state our null hypothesis in the first step, and then the second step is when we define a rejection region and define stats test, also a decision rule. In the third step, we use a Z or a T testing formula. Then the fourth step, we conclude. We either accept or reject the null hypothesis based on our decision rule. So now I'll take an example and we'll solve this example step by step to get a better understanding of how to carry out a hypothesis test for one sample. Data from Fitness Z Institute estimates that 20% of Canadian teenagers were underweight in 2015. Being underweight suggests malnourishment and is equally unhealthy as being overweight. It was equal for girls and boys. So now a professor in public health from a reputed university wants to determine whether the proportion has changed since 2015. She samples about 200 randomly selected freshmen of a university and by using BMI measurements finds that about 50 of them are underweight. If the professor uses a significance level of 0.1005, what conclusion can she draw? First thing, when we look at the question, we have to identify if this is a proportion question or a mean question. So we use two variables for stating our null hypothesis. For carrying out our hypothesis test, it's either a proportion or a mean. To define proportion, we use pi, the Greek letter pi. To define mean, we use mu. So now from this question, we can figure out that this 20% is our population proportion. This sample is given. We can find our sample proportion as well by dividing 50 by 200. And we have been given a significance level. So definitely this is a proportion question and not a mean. So as usual, the first step is we have to state our null hypothesis. The null hypothesis here, it can have less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to statements like this. They always have that. For alternative, it's either not equal to, less than, or greater than. And with this, it's very easy to identify if it's a one-tailed or a two-tailed. So for it's not equal to, always two-tailed. When we get this sign, it's always two-tailed. So for the null hypothesis, our null hypothesis here is basically what? That 20% Canadian teenagers are underweight, which is pi equals 0.20. Our alternative hypothesis is that 20% Canadian teenagers are not underweight. So it's two-tailed, so I got it from that. So we are done with our stating of null hypothesis. The second step, we move on to our second step, and it is defining our rejection region and stating our decision rule. We have been given alpha, which is 0.005. We have to find z critical. For that, the formula for two-tailed is 0.5 minus alpha upon 2. For one-tailed, it would be basically 0.5 minus alpha. But since we have a two-tailed test, z critical, to find z critical, it would be 0.5 minus alpha upon 2, which is 0.005. When we do that, we get 0.4975. This is our probability, and then we look up this probability at z table, and we find plus minus 2.81. This is our z critical. To find, now we will state our decision rule. The decision rule determines whether we accept the null hypothesis or we reject it. So you can see this is a perfect example of a two-tailed test, so a two-tailed curve. So this is like the two-tail, as you can see, two tails. This is a rejection region and this is a rejection region. And this, if our z sample is in this area, we reject our null hypothesis. But if it is in we fail to reject our null hypothesis. But if it is in these areas, we reject the null hypothesis. This is a simple way to look at it, but the decision rule is quite clear and states it precisely. So if z sample that we find out with our formula is less than minus 2.81, if it is this, see, it is minus 2.81, it comes here. If it is less than minus 2.81, and if z sample is greater than 2.81, then we reject the null. If not, then we fail to reject the null. That was our second step. Now our third step is we have to use a formula. Well, there are many formulas for this. These formulas are just for one sample. There are other formulas for second sample, but let's not go there. Let's do this first. So the first for one sample we have mu p. Like if we know the standard deviation, and when we do not know the standard deviation, then we use t. If we know the standard deviation, we use z. But we have proportion here, no relation with all these things. We have to use this proportion formula. So we have been given n 200, as I said. To find the sample proportion, I use 50 upon 200 and I get p 0.25. Now we'll use this formula, this one, the third one. Z sample equals p minus pi upon under root pi 1 minus pi upon n. When I use this, I get this formula, I get this answer. Z sample is 1.77. Clearly, when we see clearly, this is 2.81, 2.83, 4, 5. 1.77 comes here. Clearly it comes here, which means we have failed to reject the null hypothesis. And by the decision rule, z sample is less than 2.81. We fail to reject the null because it is less than 2.81. It is not greater than 2.81. So we fail to reject the null. So our conclusion is basically that we have failed to reject the null, which suggests maybe still 20% Canadian teenagers are underweight and the proportion might not have changed since 2015. So this is it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video.